The road had been empty for so long that it started to feel unreal, like I had driven out of the world without noticing. My headlights pushed back the darkness just enough to keep me moving forward, but beyond that narrow beam, everything was swallowed in black. Trees lined both sides of the road, tall and crooked, their branches twisting toward each other overhead like they were trying to close in. I had taken the shortcut without thinking much about it. It was supposed to save time. Now it felt like I had made a mistake I couldn't undo. My phone had no signal. The GPS had gone blank. Even the radio refused to pick up anything except a low, endless static that seemed to hum beneath my skin. The silence between those sounds felt heavier than anything I had ever experienced. That was when I saw him. At first, I thought it was just a trick of the light, a shape at the side of the road, standing too still to be real. But as I got closer, the figure became clearer. A man, tall and thin, standing just at the edge of the headlights. I slowed down without meaning to. He didn't move. Not even when the light hit him fully. Not even when my car rolled closer, the engine breaking the silence. He just stood there, his head tilted slightly downward. Something about that was wrong. I felt it immediately, deep in my chest, like a warning I couldn't explain. My hands tightened on the steering wheel, and I made the decision not to stop. I drove past him, forcing myself not to look directly at his face. For a few seconds, everything felt normal again. Then I checked the rearview mirror. He was standing in the middle of the road behind me, perfectly still. My breath caught in my throat. That wasn't possible. There was no way he could have moved like that. I pressed harder on the gas, my pulse racing as the car picked up speed. I told myself I was imagining things, that it was just the darkness playing tricks on me. Then the headlights flickered, only for a second. But in that second, something changed. When the light came back, he was standing in front of the car. I slammed the brakes so hard the car jerked violently. The tires screamed against the road, and I stopped just short of hitting him. My entire body froze, every muscle locked in place. He slowly lifted his head. His face didn't look right. It wasn't deformed in a way I could clearly describe. It was just wrong. Like every feature was slightly off, just enough to make it impossible to look at without feeling sick. His eyes were too wide. His mouth hung open too long. And then he smiled. It wasn't a human smile. It stretched too far, too slowly, revealing nothing but darkness inside. I tried to move, tried to reach for the door, but I couldn't. Then he stepped forward, into the light, and vanished. Just like that. The road was empty again. I didn't wait. I pressed the gas and drove as fast as I could, not daring to look back. The trees blurred past, the darkness swallowing everything behind me. It felt like the road went on forever, stretching longer than it should have. Eventually, I reached a town. Lights appeared. Buildings. Signs of life. Everything looked normal again, but the feeling didn't go away. Even now, I can't drive alone at night without remembering it. And sometimes, when I glance at the mirror, I think about what I might see if I look for too long. So, I don't, because I'm not sure he ever really left. The apartment had seemed like a good deal at the time. Cheap rent, decent location, nothing obviously wrong with it. It was old, sure, but I didn't mind that. I just needed somewhere to live. The first few nights were quiet. Then the footsteps started. At exactly 3:12 every morning, I would hear them. Slow, steady pacing directly above me. Back and forth, over and over again. Always the same rhythm, like someone walking with a purpose I couldn't understand. I assumed it was a neighbor, until I asked. The landlord's reaction was strange. He hesitated before answering, his expression tightening just slightly. "The apartment above you?" he said. "No one's living there." I laughed it off at first. Told myself he must have been mistaken. But that night, I set an alarm. When it woke me at 3:10, I lay there in the darkness, staring at the ceiling. For a moment, there was nothing. Then the sound came. Step, step, step. Clear, slow, deliberate. Someone was walking above me. My chest tightened as I listened. There was no variation, no pause, no sign of anyone else. Just one set of footsteps, pacing endlessly. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped out into the hallway. The building felt different at night. Too quiet.
Too still.
Every shadow seemed deeper. Every corner harder to see. The stairs led up to the apartment above mine.
The door was closed.
The footsteps stopped. I stood there for a long moment, staring at it, my hand hovering near the knob. Something inside me told me not to open it. I ignored it. The knob turned easily. The door creaked open. Darkness filled the room. I stepped inside, shining the flashlight around. Dust covered everything. Thick, undisturbed. There were no footprints. No signs that anyone had been there. And yet, the air felt heavy. Like I wasn't alone. Then I heard it. A single step. Right behind me. I turned quickly, the light shaking in my hand. Nothing. But the door I had left open,
was now closed.
The sound came again. Closer. I ran. I don't remember how I got back downstairs. I just remember slamming my door shut and locking it, my hands shaking. The footsteps didn't stop that night. Or the next. But they weren't above me anymore. They were outside my door. Moving slowly. Back and forth. Like something had found me. Like it knew exactly where I was. And it wasn't going anywhere. It was supposed to be a normal night. Just two friends hanging out, watching movies, and trying to stay awake as long as possible. His parents were out of town, so we had the house to ourselves. At least, that's what we thought. Sometime after midnight, we decided to go into the basement. I don't remember who suggested it. It just felt like something we had to do. The basement door was slightly open. A cold draft drifted up from the darkness below, carrying a stale smell that made me hesitate. Something about it felt wrong, but my friend didn't seem to care. He started down the stairs without waiting. I followed. Each step creaked loudly beneath us, echoing into the darkness. The air grew colder with every step, heavier, like we were moving deeper into a place that didn't want us there. At the bottom, we found the light switch. It flickered on, but it didn't make things better. The basement was filled with old furniture and boxes stacked unevenly. Shadows stretched across the walls in ways that didn't match the objects around them. Then we heard it. A whisper.
Soft.
Unclear. We both froze. It came again. Closer. It sounded like someone trying to speak, but the words didn't form properly. Like a voice that had forgotten how to be human. Something moved in the corner. A shape.
Tall. Too thin.
It shifted slightly, separating itself from the shadows. That's when we ran. We rushed for the stairs, panic taking over. I reached the top first and grabbed the door handle. It wouldn't open. It stuck. I shouted. We both pulled harder, but it didn't move. Then the whisper came again, right behind us. I turned slowly.
It was closer now.
Standing at the bottom of the stairs, watching. Its face was hidden in darkness, but I could feel it staring. The air felt thick, pressing down on my chest. The whisper changed. It became a voice.
Distorted.
Calling our names. The door suddenly burst open. We didn't question it. We ran. We didn't stop until we were in the living room. Every light turned on, both of us too scared to speak. Morning came eventually. Sunlight made everything feel normal again. We went back to the basement. The door opened easily. The light worked. Nothing was there. No shadows. No presence. Nothing. We were about to leave when I noticed something scratched into the inside of the door. Deep marks. Carved into the wood. Two names.
Mine.
And my friend's. Like something had known we would come. Like it had been waiting. And now that it had seen us, it wouldn't forget us. Even now, long after those nights have passed, the memory doesn't fade the way normal memories do. It lingers in small, quiet moments, when the lights flicker for no reason, when a hallway feels just a little too long, or when a room suddenly becomes too silent. It's not the kind of fear that makes you scream. It's the kind that settles deep inside you and waits. I tried to explain it once, to someone who hadn't experienced anything like it. I told them how it feels when something watches you without being seen, how the air itself can feel wrong, like it doesn't belong to the same world anymore. They laughed it off, said it was just imagination. But imagination doesn't leave marks. Imagination doesn't move when you're not looking. Sometimes, late at night, I still wake up at exactly 3:12 without setting an alarm. I don't know why. I just do. And in those moments, I don't move. I don't breathe too loudly. I just listen. Because part of me is terrified that if I make a sound, if I let it know I'm awake, the footsteps will start again. And this time, they won't stop at the door.